All right. Welcome. January 2026. Looking forward to today's webinar. And I think hopefully all of you are looking forward to it as well. I know we've got a huge amount of signups for today. This is a really critical topic that everyone is interested in understanding more and how it's going to impact your business. It already has, but how it's going to impact in 2026. And I can tell you, based on the content we're going to cover today, it is real. It is massively impactful, and with change comes opportunity. So hopefully you will all be ahead of the game to take advantage of these awesome things that are happening in our space. So looking forward to hearing where you're all from. So drop your name in the chat, where you're from. I love to keep the sessions really engaging with the audience. If you have questions, let's dive into it. I'm here to help, and if I don't know the answers, we'll come back to you and help you along. But as everything with AI and more information, you really do need expert partners to help you navigate that, and we hope to be that for you. So excited for today. Let's jump in. Roy, what's happening from Georgia? I think it's Georgia. I got that right. Kara, Texas, nice. Ryan, Fort Collins, NorCal. Christy, cool. I'm in Los Angeles, so just down from you. Connecticut, Washington, Finland, nice. Okay, good. We've got some internationals coming in. New York. All right, Audrey, guys, thanks for all the participation today. Let's talk about how we're going to run today's session. I'm sure a lot of you have been part of my webinars before, but we're going to talk about, have about 20 minutes of content to really help get you up to speed with the changes that are happening in our space around Rufus. If you have questions, drop them in the chat. I will try and answer as we go. Again, we're just going to keep it conversational, and then we'll open up for Q&A at the end. And of course, we have an offer for you at the end. But my goal really today is to bring you up to speed with some of the technical things that are happening around Rufus. So it's going to be more of a technical conversation, I would say, today. Again, if you have questions on it, ask the questions, because I've spent a lot of time going deep around Rufus and Cosmo, and how this is going to shift our space. So any question is open season. Let's dive in and chat. And again, if anybody else knows the answers in the chat, you're welcome to do it as well. I'm sure there'll be questions that come up. We'll start with the typical ones. Yes, it's being recorded. Yes, you'll get a copy after this. We have a lot of people here that will benefit from the recordings afterwards as well. But if you're live, great to have you here. We've got some Greece, Nikki from Greece, Portugal, Maryland, lots of cool people here. India, Denmark, awesome. Noma, the restaurant, is coming to Los Angeles. I think they're charging $1,500 for dinner here. So Noma, if anybody knows that, it's one of like a Michelin star restaurants out of Denmark. So that was crazy. I think I'd rather fly to Denmark than pay that. Okay, cool. Let's jump into it again. We're going to go through this. If you have questions, put it there. We have Evo who's helping me on the back end. So we'll capture all the questions, and I'll get into it. So let me get into it. So today, what I thought would be really important is to actually talk about some articles and publications that Amazon has published recently. So we spent a lot of time putting the information directly from the source. So you don't have to just listen to me. Amazon's actually telling you, what are the factors that are important for Rufus, and how do you optimize for that content. And we're going to talk about things like RAG. We're going to talk about knowledge graphs for relevancy. We're going to talk about a bunch of things today to just really help you understand, like, how does Rufus actually work? How critical is it going to be for you as a business? How critical is it to Amazon, which is absolutely critical. And then we're going to talk about the changes you need to make now. You can use a partner like us to make those changes. We'll talk about what our services are. But again, this is really just to bring you up to speed. And then we have a special offer at the end. It is exclusive to this webinar, so you guys are getting a deal that no one else is getting right now. So we'll bring that up at the end, and you can check it out too. All right, guys, let's jump into it. So, Evo, if you want to share my screen, we can dive in. So, let's get going. Okay. All right. So, 20 minutes, we're going to chat about the educational content, open up to Q&A. If you don't know Zonguru, we've been around for a number of years now, specialists in the Amazon space. We have over 20 different tools that you can use to really optimize and create efficiencies around your Amazon business. But our real strength is around understanding and reverse engineering Amazon's algorithm. We've done that for many years around your content optimization on your listings, your storefronts, to give you better visibility and rank and obviously revenue. And this is one of the most critical parts right now, which is the shift from Amazon's historical archaic algorithm to this new intelligent algorithm called Cosmo. And really, Amazon is your partner, or sorry, Zonguru is your partner to help you with, meeting Amazon's AI moment, which is happening right now, right? So, we're there to help you navigate this changing space as it unfolds. I love to start with an unpopular opinion. And the one I have today for you is your Amazon listing isn't written for customers anymore. It's written for the AI that advises them. And I would say this is 100% true. And the more we get into this, you'll see today that this is true, right? Of course, human conversion is critical, and that's one of the most important things that you should do as part of your listing. And I put that up front. But there's some real, data that shows that you literally have to make sure that you're writing your listings in a way that connects with Amazon's AI, which is Cosmo and obviously the Rufus experience. Because if you're giving weak signals to it, you're not getting visibility, and there's some proactive decisions being made by the AI without the customers. So you've got to make sure that you're ranking for that. Cosmo is intelligent enough to interpret customers' data, give it a personalized experience, and match your listings to that. And you'll see that customers are trusting Rufus more and more. The propensity to convert is much higher. So you need to be on this train. We've talked about it the whole of last year, but literally, if you're not on this train, you're missing the boat, and you're going to be left behind. Great. Any questions, guys? Or anything that you want to ask, put those in there. It will help guide my conversation moving forward. One thing that I want to offer to you guys right now, we have a Cosmo readiness score report. So literally taking your current listing and seeing how it maps for Rufus and for Cosmo, and we give you a score out of 100. And we not only give you the score, we actually tell you the reasons why your listing is strong or weak and how to improve it. This is actually a free report. I'll give you a link at the end of this so you can access it. But if you want to actually get it right now and you're brave enough to just give me your ASIN, just drop it literally into the chat. We'll get Evo to help run it real quick. It literally takes a minute to run, and then we'll look at the report towards the end of this and just look at some of that. So, and then we'll send you that report. So anybody who wants to drop an ASIN in, just drop it in. It's going to be anonymous, and we'll run that report. And then towards the end of this, we'll walk that through and just show you what it looks like as well. And we'll give you a link where everyone can get free access to that, so you can literally audit your current listing to see how well you mapped for Cosmo. It's a unique report in the space. We're the only ones that do it in this fashion, and it's based on real data from Amazon around how to map for Cosmo and Rufus. So drop it in there. We'll check it out. Okay, cool. Thank you. I see a bunch coming in already. So we will absolutely run one of those and get it going. And if it's not going to be yours today, we'll give you the link so you can run it for yourself. So you're all good. Okay, guys, let's jump into it. The seismic shift is happening, right? Rufus is not a feature. It's a critical new discovery layer. It is absolutely 100% an important aspect, and to understand that no longer are we just keyword intent matching and the semantic matching around there. There's some serious critical new discovery paths to finding products that Rufus drives. And it absolutely will give you more visibility, more sales, and get you in front of more customers, right? So you need to understand how to map for that. Conversational search is embedded, right? It is part of our daily lives. All of us know that we go onto ChatGPT, we go onto Perplexity, Gemini, and we are having conversational search and research, really, is what I would call it, to find products, to find things, to get recommendations, right? We're trusting it. And we're enjoying that experience. So it is part of our daily lives, right? And it's embedded and it's scaling, right? And it is scaling on Amazon as well. So, that is really an important thing. It goes further than just the conversational search. It's actually like a proactive decision-making platform that the AI is making on behalf of us and understanding our data, which is pretty scary in some ways. Hopefully, it's going to benefit customers, but like there's decisions being made without the customer, and so that should be a trigger for you to understand. Like, if customers aren't even necessarily making the decision of what the products are they're going to see, you need to be aligned with what Rufus is looking for, right? Uh, that's the next point. Your AI is guiding product decisions, and then Amazon is training shoppers to ask questions, right, and to lean into discovery. So yeah, you'll see it right now. I mean, they're all in on this platform, and it's not only is it globally, people are being trained to ask questions and have this conversational search. It is now happening on Amazon, right? All right, good. So I see some Masons in here. That's awesome. Why is Amazon going all in, right? I think this is just an important point before we get into some of the technical factors of Rufus. But this needs to land with everyone here, like from two places. One, it's a competitive landscape that has shifted because of things like ChatGPT. And if Amazon doesn't compete, it is being left behind, and it's losing market share, and it's losing sales, and it's losing value. So it can't even wait, just because it's Amazon and it can do it at its own pace. It's moving so fast, and it has to keep up, right? And we've seen the evolution of Rufus. If you tried Rufus 6 months ago, it was a terrible experience. If you tried right now, it is comparable to having a conversational search experience with ChatGPT, right? So if today, like, people will go into ChatGPT, they'll search, they'll research, they'll find a product, and probably they're either going to find it and buy it, but they're most likely going to jump over to Amazon, search for it, and then actually buy it, right? That is the experience that's happening today, but that is changing, right? ChatGPT is integrating with Shopify. It's integrating with Walmart. They're giving you an e-commerce experience within their platform, right? And so that is a major trigger for Amazon to say, hey, we can't lose that share. If we don't own conversational search, we lose sales, right? And so what they're doing right now is they're taking the stance of saying, hey, we're going to protect our data. We're going to block some of these AI LLMs from searching our platform because we want to own it. But if they're going to own it, they have to give an experience that matches that for a customer, right? So they are all in on Rufus for that reason of being able to protect their universe, right? And to own that market share. So they've gone 100% all in on that. I hope that is clear to everyone. If not, ask questions. The second piece is money, right? Amazon released stats last year, 60%. It was actually over Black Friday. They released a stat that they saw an increase in 20% conversions from normal, search-based SERP driven searches. So typing in keywords, looking at organic results or paid, and then buying. They saw a 20% increase in conversions over Black Friday. From those that engaged with Rufus, they saw an 80% increase in conversions, right? And overall, they're saying there's a 60% higher chance, outside of Black Friday, just normal, that if people engage with Rufus, there's a 60% higher chance that they convert. That is crazy money for Amazon, right? They are all in on that. And for us, understanding that, like, through that process, customers are more educated. They're trusting the data from Rufus. They're going through that process and then buying it. That's really critical, because if you show up in Rufus, you've got a 60 to 80% chance more of converting on your product. That's huge, right? 250 million more customers use Rufus in 2025, and that's going to scale massively this year. And they're projecting over $10 billion in additional revenue from Rufus in 2026, right? So they're all in on this. Like, this is where they're going, and they've shifted the algorithm accordingly. And we now got through Q4 of last year, which is obviously a big sale period. Amazon's going more in on Cosmo and the algorithm, and so should you. This is the time to make the changes. I want to see some questions coming in, guys. If there's questions here, let me know. Hopefully this content is resonating with you, and it's just helping to give you the contextual aspect of why Rufus is so important. This is really interesting. Like, so from this article, it's given us some of the types of questions that people are now asking or can ask of Rufus, right? Research questions like, hey, I have this espresso thing in my cart. Is this the best thing? Or give me some more comparisons, right? Finding deals. Hey, I've got this, my mom's birthday's coming up. Give me some deals that match what I'm looking for. This is the crazy one, reorder and track. So order everything that I browsed yesterday. Just go ahead and order that, or track the prices of these products. And when it's at its cheapest, go ahead and buy it. Or, hey, I'm interested in this product. When you see something that really matches my guidelines, go ahead and buy the best one. That is crazy for me, because it is showing that Rufus is going to become more and more intelligent and proactive on ordering things and putting them into your shopping cart and even pressing go before you, as a customer, have even engaged with that. So it's making decisions on your products before or without you, right? Obviously, your prompts and your guidelines, but it will literally make decisions without you. So if you're giving weak signals to Rufus and you're not appearing and you're not giving it the right signals, you're not literally even there for the conversion, right? So, that is a really critical piece that you have to understand about Rufus. Image search is important. You can give it an image, it will find it. So it is an intelligent being. And I'm going to get into the technicalities of how far it's evolved in a second, which is important. Jamina, keyword optimization is still important, or will everything else focus on the product info in the back end? So, I think this is really an important point. Like keyword, semantic keyword placement is still critical, right? There's always going to be intent-based searching. And so to make sure that the keyword seeding is there for semantic matching is critical. But what's really cool is like now it's evolved, and I'll show you this, but there is a knowledge graph that really looks at that right now. So the Cosmo is intelligent enough right now that if you give it the right signals around some of the keywords, and then you map it to the knowledge graph, it also semantically matches to all the keyword relevancy that's out there, right? So you don't have to stuff the keywords into your listing. And this has been one of the big things with sellers that we've seen is we've given them listings and they're like, oh, it doesn't have all my main keywords in it. I'm not sure if it's going to work. And we're like, just put it up and you'll see it matches to even more sessions than what you had before, right? So it is working and it's real. This is the community chatter that's substantiating what we've been preparing you for as individuals for a while, right? We've been talking about Rufus, literally all of last year, but particularly in the last 2 quarters of 2025, how critical it is. It is now coming up more and more in the communities, by thought leaders in our space, people like John Durkitz, right? This is a newsletter that came out last week. He's like, hey, one thing, I'm all in and I'm embracing Rufus. And he's like, hey, there's skeptics around this, whether it is important, but it is happening right now. And he talks about, hey, Amazon is clearly putting all of their organizational resources into Rufus. You need to pay attention. Go ahead. This is just a snapshot of his article. You can go ahead and read it. But, we've got people talking about it. Kevin King, he takes more of the the fear-based approach, which is a real thing too. And you need to understand it. Something terrifying is happening on Amazon right now, and most sellers have no idea it's coming. Amazon's AI shopping assistant Rufus is already live, right? And he talks about your traditional listing, worthless. Right now, these AI assistants are quietly redirecting traffic away from your listings if you haven't adapted. So, it's this whole idea, like if you're not changing to the changes that are happening in the space, you're being left behind. And they are literally intelligent AI algorithms on Amazon, namely Rufus, making decisions around products that if you're not giving the right signals, you're gonna miss it, right? So this is a critical part. The shift is happening. People are talking about it, and it's just kind of cool to know that this is becoming a real thing and is substantiating everything that we've been working on for the last year and a half. And we are obviously prepping you guys for that with some of the tools and the technology we have right now to make sure that you get the data and the information you need so that you can make sure you're mapped. Cool. Some good questions coming in. A/B testing. We'll talk a little bit more about A/B testing to the towards the end. We'll come back and look at that. The role of PPC we can come back to and talk about as well. These are critical things. Just as an insight, Amazon's even come back and said like, hey, they're black boxing a lot of Rufus, so even typical normal A/B testing is not going to work. You literally just have to make sure that you're mapping technically to what the knowledge graph is. The cool thing is ZonGuru has that technical mapping for you, so you can go ahead and do it yourself. So let's keep going. The intelligent AI algorithm that drives Rufus is called Cosmo, right? This is it's the new algorithm. What drives it? What makes up the factors that go into Cosmo? That's what we're going to spend some technical time talking about it. This is directly from the source of Amazon across a number of different publications and articles, and we're going to talk about like, hey, there's this crappy A9 archaic algorithm that used to be what we used to use, right? And what sucked about that was like, we had to keyword stuff our listings through all this and really not talk about our product at all, just make sure we had the keywords. Now with Cosmo, it has this intelligent way of mapping your listings. One of the great benefits about that is now you can actually talk about the cool things about your product positioning, how to connect more with customers. Those are all things that you can really talk about right now. We're talking about behavior, we're talking about benefits, intent-based purchasing, all of these cool things that we can talk about in our listings. And I'm going to show you more of that because it has things like knowledge graph, RAG, and a whole bunch of things that are in place on this new algorithm, right? So let's jump into that and let's talk about what that is. Yeah, cool, guys. Some really good comments coming in. If you're not reading the comments, I think people are. What's cool here is like people are, people are also understand the space and they're giving some of their opinions here. So Elena, thanks for that. So jump in and look at that as well, and give your comments, guys. I love this to be more interactive and engaging. What Amazon just published and confirmed. So they've told us like exactly how Rufus works. It's not, they're going to, how you optimize and how you surface for that, right? There's some black box around that. We're going to talk about that, but they're telling you the factors that go into it, and that's an evolving space, right? So I want to give you some of the technical aspects here. Some of the articles I referenced, I just kind of screenshotted those below. But Rufus and Cosmo and what's been built there as an intelligence being, right, if we want to call it that, is based on Amazon's Bedrock. They've got their own their own platform that they've built all their LLMs and their structure into it. Something like N8N, if you're familiar with the space, right? You need a platform that is built so that you can inject all the LLMs and the AI and the algorithms into it. They have something called Amazon Bedrock, which is customized, proprietary, they've built, right? And gives them the flexibility to use multiple LLMs, right? They use Amazon Nova, which is their LLM, but they also use a bunch of other ones like Anthropic, and other LLMs and processes, right? And the point there is like there are so many different ways to find products, right? And based on the use case, right, is an intent-based search, like someone typed in a keyword, right? Or is it a research-based query, or is it something, an image-based query? Whatever those things are, it now has a flexible platform that can actually use the right LLMs, the right processes to give the most best relevant match or solution to what's being asked, right? And so they are, they built this, and again, going back 6 months, it was terrible, but now it's much better, right? So they've evolved quickly enough that they're on top of this, and it pulls data from a multitude of sources. We're going to talk about that. That's actually RAG, but it has these trained LLMs, but then it has the ability to pull in real-time data to give even a better solution, right? And that is what this is, right? So around this, it's important to understand that there is a thing called RAG, right, which is retrieval augmentation generation. That's not specific to Amazon. That is specific to any AI platform, right? But what it means is like you have these LLMs that are trained and can give, they can be trained on customer data, etc. But what they can also do is then retrieve data from other sources, right? So it's a layer on top of your LLM. But what's really critical about that is it's retrieving from sources like external platforms, right? So this is one of the cool things that's starting to happen in space, is the old things around SEO, getting your products into publications, PR work, that kind of stuff. These are signals that influence ChatGPT and Perplexity, etc. But they also are now influencing Amazon. You actually see it in your Rufus results. If you're looking for recommendations, sometimes it'll reference some of the publications at the bottom, right? So it's starting to use external publications. It's using things like reviews, Q&A. The whole point of that is it wants to be able to give you a quality answer or recommendation. And for it to be able to do that, it needs to have trustworthy sources outside of Amazon. It needs to be more objective, right? Because if it's not objective in educating itself about what to recommend, then it's going to give a poor response, right? So it's using all of these things with RAG, which is a new thing that it's developed and was missing, 6 months ago. So now that it has it, the solution is much more relevant, and it's a quality solution, right? So I'm going to tell you what goes into that at the moment. And the point is, if you're not giving it the right signals, this is important. Weak evidence equals weak selection. So when it's doing all of this, it's using the LLMs, it's actually using RAG, and it's pulling in all these factors. If your listings are not matching what it's looking for, you're giving it weak signals, and you're not going to appear in the recommendations, right? So that's critical. Here's what goes into it. Obviously, your listing content, facts, claims, attributes, using your EBC, your images. We can talk a lot more about that, but these are critical things that are read by everything on your page is being read by the algorithm, right? So what you put in there, accreditations, publications, anything else that you have in there, these are critical things. Reviews, 100%, obviously always important. Q&A, educational objections, understanding that. How do you answer Q&A? That's a big part of Rufus. catalog data, and then importantly, customer profiles. So again, it's a customized experience. So it is intelligent enough to understand your historical purchases and your historical behavior after the last while. And based on that, it's then going to use the right LLMs and then give you a personalized answer, right? So it has to make sure that it's mapped all of your content in the right way, and then it understands the intent of the search and the customer's behavior to then give you a solution. So it's not this easy one-to-one, hey, I've got keywords, I'm going to appear in search. You have to be mapped in the right way, and then it's using that to then give you visibility, right? So the more you understand it and the more you can do that, and you can do it better than your competitors, the more you're going to appear in the searches as it becomes more and more relevant, which is happening right now. Does RAG pull text from listing images? Absolutely. From listing images, yes. So images, we can dive into that as well. That's coming from Christy. Thanks for the question. Yes, it does. So your images, it reads the content of your images. It reads the text that you overlay in your images, right? And it actually reads the alt text in the background. And frankly, I think it's going to start reading more of the metadata. If you look at one of the big plays in the AI world is like the metadata descriptions on the back of an image, right? And the more detailed you are with that, the more context you can give to the LLMs, and therefore it has a better understanding of what that image means, right? So the narrative that you tell in your images, the copy overlays, what you put in your EBC, those are all critical factors to the LLMs and what they read, right? So not only is the content, but what you put in your images is critical. You can take your image, you can drop it into Rufus and say, hey, what are you reading this image? Or you can drop it into ChatGPT. It's going to tell you what it says, right? So it's important. Knowledge graph. This is the cool thing. How you map your listings, and what's cool is Amazon's given us an actual the technical aspects of the knowledge graph. It tells you, hey, if you can map to this knowledge graph, we can then take that information and map it to all of the relevant structural use cases that are out there, keyword based, research based, whatever those are, and make sure we give you enough visibility. So this is the thing around weak signals. If you're not mapping to the knowledge graph, you're giving weak signals to Rufus. If you can map to the knowledge graph, you're giving strong signals, right? So this is a critical piece. This is one of the things that we really own, in our space, and it will give you that much more visibility, right? So understanding attribute nodes, intent, attribute cases, use cases, this idea of like intent, behavior, benefits, right? And how you map that correctly is important. The good thing is it's a technical mapping. So you can write your listings and you can make sure that, it actually maps technically. What Zongu does is we actually write the listings for you, making sure that we map you technically, and then you can tweak it as you need to. So, missing fields create invisibility, right? So that is important. The knowledge graph is important. This is literally from Amazon, right? They give a white paper on like, hey, what are the things that are important, right? So used for function, used for the audience, right? Used to do what? Used as, right? One really important one that is critical is used with, right? So co-buy behavior. This is a big one for Amazon because it's going to make more money, right? So a co-buy behavior is like, if I buy coffee beans, I most likely will buy a coffee pot, right? That's a co-buy. So like when you're looking for a coffee pot, Rufus might also recommend, or within the cart, etc. Hey, you might also want to look at this product, consider this, right? So if you get your co-buy, your used with right, and you can map it to the right products, it knows to signal and to map you to other product cases that are happening, right? So when someone goes, hey, I'm going hiking and I'm going on an expert hiking trail, what do I need? You're right. If your product matches with those kind of co-buy behaviors and experiences, it's going to map you more, right? So this is a critical piece. Multi-model routing. I've talked a little bit about this already, but it's intelligent enough to understand like there's different use cases and there's different types of customer profiles and there's different historical behavior that's happening, and it factors all of that in. When you ask a question, Rufus is going to factor all of that and then use different models to give you the right solution, right? So it might use Amazon Nova, it might use a different one, it might factor in different things to give you recommendations, right? So every single time you do it, it's different, right? So this is built intelligently. The important thing here is like when Amazon tells us all these things, we know that it's literally being handled in a way that other LLMs, other models are being handled, right? So it is intelligent enough and it's going to give quality results. So the experience is going to get better and better, and more customers are going to be using this on Amazon. I know I'm running a little bit long on the 20 minutes I said, but that's okay. We're going to get into Q&A in a second. These are factors that go in: reviews, Q&A. We talked about that. Changes you need to make to your listings right now. So the first one I have at the top here is, you need to write your listings to have better human conversion. As distracting as all of these things are, you have to have a great product, and you have to have a great listing that communicates your point of difference, to connect better emotionally with customers, help with human conversion, right? The beautiful thing about this new Cosmo algorithm is that you can do more of that on your listings. You're not restrained by having to stuff it with keywords. Great, right? So let's do that. Answer intent, not just keywords. Write clearly for retrieval, right? Map feature, benefit, use case, right? Like, this is the really important one: feature, benefit, use case, persona, right? Like, there's ways that you can write these in your listings. Upgrade images for clarity and intent. Absolutely. As we said, it reads images, right? So that's critical. Complete your attribution, specs, and map. Align claims with reviews and Q&A. And then the last one here is get some PR publications going, right? So they even mentioned in the article the types of publications. They're just starting this on Amazon, but there's going to be more and more this idea of publications. So, like, in the gone are the days of just being an Amazon product, right? We're an e-commerce brand nowadays, right? Everyone here nodding heads, we're an e-commerce brand, right? So, it is critical to make sure that you're doing stuff outside of just Amazon. It's not just omni-channel market. It's not just single channel marketing, right? Yes, that's important, but omni-channel, getting yourselves into other publications, these are really important things that you need to do. It's critical. All right, let's jump into Zonguru's transformation service, right? So we do this today, right? So we've been live for a while. There's some amazing things happening on Zonguru that are coming out. We're giving you much more AI forward experiences in this, but right now our goal is to allow you to understand how your listings are mapped for Cosmo right now, and then to allow you to go through our transformation service, where you have some control over what is teaching our intelligent agents on our side. So we help you, we allow you to train our agents around your brand, what makes you different, your positioning, right? So there's some brand intake there where you answer some questions. We then go and do a whole bunch of things that are done by agents, which is what they do well, which is deep research on your niche, on your product, on your competitors. We do all that deep research, and we come back and give you all the insights, and we give you some of the product intakes where you have control over, what is your main buy keyword, what are your key product benefits. We surface that to you, and you can okay some of those. And then once you've gone through that process, we actually go ahead and transform your listings and give you the final product. We show you the before, the after on your listing. We show you how it's mapped, why it's important, what are the key things that you need to look at. And we give you, frankly, a listing that is much more aligned with how to convert for humans, but then it's mapped for all the technical parts of your Amazon listing. And then we do the same on the image side and your EBC side. So we do a deep dive on your images. We tell you what is the narrative you should be telling in your images, what's the copy overlay you should be putting in there, what should you put in your EBC content. We give you all of this literally so that you can start to transform your listings and take advantage of the slow adopters, right? With change comes opportunity. This is the time. You need to be on top of this. You need to transform these listings. And, as I said, we're into the new year. Amazon's going to lean more and more into Cosmo. So this is the critical time, right? So we'll give you a link at this where you can actually do it. You can go through the whole process. It is an AI forward intelligence service with a whole bunch of multi-agents that will work on your listings. And there is a human element as well that we're looking at that and helping you through this process. We're giving you the ability to control. I think that's one of the most unique things about our process is not only are we technically mapping it, but we're giving you the ability to input and teach some of our agents so that the end result is customized to your product, and you are a subject matter expert. So we're giving you the ability to input into that, right? Good information in is good information out. These are some of the things that we map for. The semantic mapping requirements, right? Over 15 categories, we map you for this. Rufus requirements, we map you for over 20 categories. And then, this is an example. I'm not going to dive too much into this because I have gone through these in webinars. This is on the link on the page. You can actually download what the actual final product is that you're going to receive. You can have a look at that. And I'm going to give you There's a video in there that educates you on all that. So I don't want to spend too much time getting into this and, selling our product. I think it's going to sell itself when you use it. The most important thing here was to make sure that the penny drops with everyone here. Like, this is such a critical thing that you do with your listings right now. We have agencies that are coming to us and saying, we're getting caught out right now. We need to transform hundreds of listings. How do we do that? We have a bulk process, so we can do it for agencies in bulk. But people are literally saying, like, we need to transform these listings right now, right, to stay ahead. We give you the readiness to score. We're going to come back and look at one of these reports in a second. So Evo, if you can drop the ASIN over to me, I'm going to just bring up one of those ASINs so we can look at a real live readiness report. But it scores your report. I'll show you what that looks like. And then we jump into the actual optimization. So, this is just a snapshot, but it's actually showing you, like, the before, after, the A9 semantic keyword matching, the Rufus Q&A, the Cosmo technical mapping. It'll show you all the things and show you how it's all mapped, and then give you the final product, the current and the new one. The cool thing is it's connecting we do that deep research on your customer persona. We match to all of their anxiety. We look at reviews, we look at content. So you've got this high converting listing that is actually mapped in the right way, and you get a reading to score at the end. And then we have performance tracking on Zonguru, right? So by the way, to use the Cosmo transformation service, it's just a credit-based system. You just buy the listing. You don't need a subscription, and you can actually transform the listings. If you wanted to performance tracking around that and everything else, that's the Zonguru subscription you can sign up for. We have these deep research reporting around it, and we have case studies. We have things like this, right? Total sessions up 68%, niche rank 13% up, conversion rate 18% up, right? Because you're creating these so much cooler listings that convert better with humans, and better organic traffic, right? Here's another one, 73% increase in improvement, etc. Right? Not only do we track the things that impact organic rank and visibility, but also the other things that impacted, like PPC and etc. Right? So you've got all that. Okay, we're into Q&A right now, but as we do Q&A, let's jump over and let's actually just grab this live listing. This live report. Let me see if I can just get it right now. And I'm going to download this one. Let me see if I can grab it, and then I'm going to upload it right here. So give me 1 second, guys. Let me just bring it up. All right, so here we go. Downloads. Gotcha. Oh, that didn't come through. So that's just an image. So maybe that's just an image there. So if you could give me, there, I got the ASIN. Here we go. Here's one ASIN. I'll run this in the report. I'll just show you how it looks actually in the report. Let me just run this. Sorry, guys, 1 second. Copy. That's a link. Evo, can you just give me not a link, but just the actual ASIN? It's okay. Actually, I got it right here. I'll just grab it here. All right, let's go back to this. Okay, so here, guys, if you want to run, this is the link. I've got a link for you. You can run your own report directly. Sorry, I just want to get back to this just so I can see you guys. You can go ahead. You just literally add your ASIN right here. You hit generate reports, and it's going to go ahead and generate a report on your current listing, and you'll get the results. So we'll come back to this and look at it in 1 second. Well, there it is. So this is one person's product. 52 out of 100 is a score. A pharmacy company. Looks like alcohol wipes, antiseptic. The score is 52 out of 100, right? So as you scroll down, it's going to start to explain to you, well, why is that score 52 out of 100? Well, you've got a semantic Cosmo mapping, which is the knowledge graph of 56%, and Rufus Q&A of 43%, right? And then if you look below that, it says he has all the technical mapping, right? Used for function, used for situation, missing, right? Product type, capable, solves, used in, I bet you used with this is the one that's usually always missing. Used with, complementary, right? Missing. That's the co-buy behavior. That's going to give you so much more traction with Rufus because it's going to recommend you with other use cases, right? So that's missing. Rufus has got some questions answered, but a whole bunch of questions that are not answered, right? So reverse engineer this, answer the questions. And then below that, it's actually getting in and saying, hey, this is where it's well developed. Here's where it's adequate. Here's what's missing, right? So you need to explicitly name target users such as families, parents, caregivers. So give the actual type of persona product, name that in your listing, right? So what's cool about this report is it tells you all, where you're strong, where you're weak, but also how to improve it, right? So you can literally go ahead and do this yourself. It's a really cool report. I'm going to give you the link to this at the end. It also looks at A9 versus Cosmo and the gaps. So there's a whole bunch in that report that's going to help you to improve your listings. Go ahead and run this. It'll tell you if you're mapping yes or no. I've seen a listing that's 92%, which is the highest, which is one of our, it's actually an agency that had one. So you get good scores, but mostly it's around this 52. Anything over like 70% is starting to really get there, which is good, right? Okay, so let's get into. I'm going to show you this quickly, and then we're going to get into Q&A. All right, so wait, I'm going to go back one slide. Let's go back here. Okay, so anybody who wants that free Cosmo readiness report, go to zonguru.link/Cosmo RS readiness score, right? Cosmo RS. So we're going to drop that in the chat. If you want to get that free, you have 5 free ones. If you need more, just ping back on support@zonguru.com, and we will work with you to see if you can get access to more. If you qualify, zonguru.link/Cosmo RS, right? You can get those free reports. Go ahead and run that on your listings right now. See how you map. Take your best listings, and then probably what you'll see is not, and then you can engage with us and we can map it for you. I would definitely recommend that. And then we have this exclusive offer for you. So now is the time, guys. Like we've structured this specifically. We're giving you 50% off on the price, right? It's typically $100 per parent listing, right? And you get like all the content, all the image influences. You'll get that back on ROI literally in seconds of publishing that to Amazon. It is $100 a listing, but you can get them for $50 a listing if you order 3 or more. So as soon as you order 3, the coupon will be active, and then you would get 50% off. And there's no limit to what you do there. So you can go as many as you want, and you will get that 50% off. So 50% off, order 3+ listings, zonguru.link/Cosmo50. That is the coupon, Cosmo50, right? Here's the coupon, Cosmo50. So as you get into the process from that link into that code, and then you enter 3 ASINs, you'll get that. You get credits as well. So even if you're not doing 3, you can order 10, you're going to get 50% off. You can come back you can do 1 now, and you can come back in, a couple of weeks and do the second one. So we have the credit there, and we can go for it. Anybody here who has actually used the service already, and you want to order more, just go to support@zonguru.com and give them that code Cosmo50 and say, hey, here's the ASINs that I want to optimize as my second go. We'll add that into your product intake, and then you can go for it. The cool thing is you just do your brand intake once. So the brand education of our agents you do once for your brand, and then the products, the ASINs that you submit after that, you can just keep going with as many as you want. On the second go, just email support@zonguru. We have a full team there. They know exactly what you've done. You can give them that link and say, hey, I'm going to do this for these next ASINs, and they'll go ahead and run you through and process your order and go from there, right? Our tech, human team, before and after scores, all the listing copy, all your EBC image copy, everything you need to do to upgrade your images. Everyone is starting to do that right now, right? We've got out of Q4, we're in Q1. You need to go ahead and get that done. I want to jump over and start to answer some of these Q&A questions, because I know there's a bunch, and we can go from there. So, all right, let me see. Can you just show me there, Evo, instead of my screen? Yeah, great, thank you. All right, let's jump into the Q&A, guys. Let me scroll up here and just see. I hope that was really helpful, guys. There is technical aspects here that you need to be aware of. It is on Amazon. The knowledge graph is one of the most important things you can do. And then just playing with Rufus. Get in there, type in, like, reverse engineer it. You'll see it is a great experience now. It is so much better. Thank you, everyone, who submitted their ASINs. Again, if you didn't get it today, you can go ahead and do that yourself. I'm going to pause for 1 second here and just make sure that with Evo, I've got everything going well here. Okay, great. Good. Okay, let's get into some questions here. So, how can we train Rufus more about our product? The training is literally mapping the knowledge graph. So if you can, get the knowledge graph in there. There are some other things that are being done. Seeding Q&A, your review content is important. There's people that are trying to hack it all the time. I would say the most important thing is the knowledge graph. It is intelligent enough to say, hey, if I map it technically, I can match it to all of these different pathways, right? So that is your answer. You need to map it right now. I ran an A/B test. I ran an A/B test on Zonguru, keyword titles and bullets, and I didn't see any difference on sales and why. So it depends on how long. So this is the important thing, and people have done an A/B test, and they're like, "Hey, I just changed the title. How come my Cosmo transformation didn't bring me more sales?" Well, the point is like you have to change the whole listing, right? Everything in that listing. You also need to. I advise updating your images based on the insights we've given you in the copy overlays. If you're doing everything, you're now giving all the signals, strong signals to Rufus, and you're mapping in a better way. But we've also seen with listings, just changing, not just changing your title. That's just keyword matching, right? You've got to change your listing content. And if you do that, you'll start to see your sessions increase for sure. There are factors that influence your organic rank. Maybe you ran out of stock, you changed your price, your competitors dropped their price, you didn't run enough PPC. There's other things that influence organic rank. And so we in our tracking, we make sure that we contextually track those things as well, right? Because the picture is better than just your content on your listings, is what everything else is happening in the space. So you need to make sure that is tracking as well. But I would tell you, with all the case studies, we are seeing definitely not a drop in niche rank. We're not dropping sessions and keywords, but in fact, you're getting more sessions and you're starting to grow. That's really important. What role will PPC play in the near future? This is a critical one, right? I think PPC is obviously changing. Amazon is always going to deem it important because they make so much money out of it. They took so long to cotton on to the idea that it is such a big money driver for them, but they're still going to have that. We are already seeing ads appear in Rufus. So I'm going to say that again. We are already seeing ads appear in Rufus. Now, is Amazon going to be smart about that? We'll see, right? Is the greed and the revenue going to drive it, or they're going to lean more into the objective idea of the experience of Rufus, which is like, hey, I'm engaging here. I need an objective opinion. I would, in this article as well, the second article, it's the insight from that is like Rufus is going to be objective, but how Amazon then surfaces that to you is going to be driven by what meets its business needs, right? So it is going to start to sway recommendations to what it thinks is going to help its business. So is your listing score good? Are you moving stock? All the kind of factors that make Amazon more money, those are all going to be driven in there as well. But it's going to it's going to use things to drive its business needs. PPC is going to be important, so there's going to start being ads inside of Rufus as well. So this evolution marks a major step forward in Amazon AI advertising. Okay, yes. So Elena's talking about PPC AI that must be understood and leveraged before. Yeah. Okay. So kind of what I said, like PPC is going to be in. It's in obviously our traditional SERP experience. It's now going to be in PPC in the Rufus experience as well. Does RAG pull from TikTok and or Instagram postings? Not that it said, and I don't think it will. However, there is spillover from that, right? So outside traffic coming to your Amazon listing is an indicator to the overall algorithm, right? So if you're getting more outside that leads to conversions, Amazon's seeing that as a signal and saying, hey, this thing is actually driving new traffic. We should give it more relevancy. So I would say, overall, it's not going to RAG, but overall, it's being a factor into the algorithm, right? Which is, are you on TikTok, Instagram? Is that creating spillover, more sessions, conversions, traffic to your listings? Yes. Therefore, you're going to get more visibility. All right, I'll answer that one. John, how far are we from PPC sponsored type Rufus search returns? I just told you it's already happening, right? We've seen that. Do you think it's coming on Amazon? Yes, there is absolutely, sponsored ads going to Rufus. Is Amazon offering or going to offer reports by ASIN that show us what customers are typing into Rufus? So, Stacey, that's a really important question. The articles and the knowledge that I have right now is no. So, that's why I said, like traditional A/B testing, you're not going to really know if you're mapping better for Rufus. If Amazon's smart, they're going to start giving sellers an indication of whether you're mapped or not. Right now, you need to rely on Zonguru to map that for you. We're going to keep evolving that space. And we're going to keep evolving our performance reporting to exactly that, reverse engineer and saying, hey, are you actually mapped in the right way for Rufus? Right now they're keeping that a black box, but they're telling us all the factors that indicate. So if you can map on those factors, you're going to have more relevancy, right? And if you're tracking on our reporting, you'll start to see that you're getting more visibility. Thanks, Elena. We have already tried Zonguru's optimization for several ASINs and are very satisfied with the results. Love that. Thank you. Appreciate it. And this is just a cool thing. It's just validating what we're doing and where we're going all in on this is to really help you guys navigate this next phase of the algorithm, right? It is going to be crazy where it's going in the next while, and you need someone to keep the finger on the pulse. That's us. We're focusing on that, so you guys can focus on all the other stuff you need to do on your business, right? When is the service available to Germany? So it is not available yet. It is now US, UK. We'll be looking at Canada, some other English markets as well. I think the big thing for us right now is we're leaning away from translated markets because we want to be more comfortable that the recommendations are actually meeting that, and that the data is there. Germany is definitely going to be the first foreign language, or non English language, let's just say that we will focus on, because it is a big enough market. There's enough data there, so that will come to us at a point. Crane, always good to see you on here, man. How can Zongu help when a brand is creating a new listing to help optimize from the start? So right now your listing has to be live to do the Cosmo transformation. One thing that you can do is use a competitor listing. So if you want the insights and you're going to get it, use your best competitor's listing. You can use that as your start, and then it will give you the best listing. So you can leverage what everyone else has done in your space to do it. And then importantly, make sure you insert the right competitors into the product intake form. That's going to drive what relevant competitors it looks at, right? Do you have to state the words used with, etc., verbatim in your listing? No. So it's a technical mapping. It's saying used with, but it's you need to talk about that conversationally, right? It's a conversation. It's a narrative, right? So just talk about experiences, behaviors, right? Hey, our coffee, has been talked about by Breville users as being the best coffee for their Breville machines. That's a used with case right there, right? Does the Q&A and the Premium Air Plus content satisfy the Q&A? It's you need to look at all the Q&A, right? So we pull from Q&A. You need to look at your EBC stuff, but you need to look at the general Q&A that's happening around your space, and those are some of the questions that are answered. But that's the stuff that we actually look at and start to pull into to knowledge map what Rufus needs to answer from a Q&A perspective as well. Back-end search terms that are only shown in the flat file. So yeah, we do give inputs into that, right? We give you the back-end search terms for sure, but everything else that's mapping, as this evolves, the content in your listings is a critical piece. The back-end search terms are spillover as it was, but what's happening is with the algorithm, the content in your listings is becoming more and more critical, and the content in your images. So if you're getting that right, then it's just a matter of just mapping your back-end search terms and your back-end aspects as Amazon tells you to do, right? That's critical. Guys, I'm getting to the end of my questions here. There's another one here. Ask me all right questions on Amazon to have Rufus. I'm not sure I'm getting that question, Oleg. Sorry. But yes, I think I've got all the questions here. So again, everyone, this is the time. You have to do it. Everyone's talking about it in the space. We've been talking about it. We're ahead of the game here. We're constantly evolving and reverse engineering what is needed by Rufus, taking all the new inputs into it to give you guys the solutions. You can go ahead and use the free report to check your listings, but now is the time to buy the Cosmo transformation service. We are giving you 50% off. You will get that money back in droves in literally seconds once you do this. Everyone, this is the time to transform your listings. That's why we've given you this special offer to incentivize you to take the time and to do it right now. 3+ listings, get 50% off. It is a great deal. You're going to get insights around your listing. We've had people come on and say, I've been trying to differentiate my brand from my competitors for years, and it's only when I ran it through the Cosmo transformation that I got the right insights to actually show me how I need to communicate my listing. So we are doing that deep research. We have these intelligent AI algorithms that will literally come back and do all the research and say, hey, this is how you need to position your product. This is how you connect with your customer. This is who your customer is. And by the way, this is the technical mapping you need to do to get more visibility on Rufus. We're doing all of that for you in these transformations. And again, if you've done it already, just support your code, and we will apply to your future listings. And we will work with you to give you the best listings. So do it on your main parent ASINs, get the insights, and then start to input that into your listings. The other cool part is through the process, you're going to understand your brand better. You can literally get a brand style guide out of this to understand your brand tonality and how you can be different. So go for it. I want to help you guys as much as possible. I hope this has been helpful. There will be another one coming up shortly. There is another agency one happening next week. I'm doing one also with Stella Candy. This is the space I'm talking about it. If you need to get hold of us, LinkedIn, you can get me there. You can get me on Zonguru. You can deal with our team at support at Zonguru. We are focused on helping you meet Amazon's AI moment right now. So go ahead and get this done. I wish you luck with 2026 and catch me on the next webinar. Feel free to email us about any content you want us to dive into more. The replay will be there. The offer will be there. Get it in the email. Look at our newsletter from this week. We have some really great content in there. And let's get jamming, guys. I wish you luck and scale in this new AI moment on Amazon. Cheers for now. Bye.